I quite often will meet people that are like, where are you from? I mean, not even in the Asian way, but I'm like a Southern Midwest girl at heart with like an LA sprinkle now.
Arden Cho, it is such a treat to have you on the podcast. We are coming out of our hiatus for you, so this is doubly special. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Did we just see gold?
Yeah, I can't believe we're doing it.
So exciting! Okay, you know what this means. It's time to release the song.
Yes, it's finally time.
The moment we waited for.
Whoa, that was weird.
I love when this happens, when a movie just drops on Netflix and you just watch the magic happen. And I have some stats here that I want to share. Hitting number 1 globally. It's Netflix's most watched original animated feature. And of course, the music. So it keeps topping multiple charts, including Billboard. And there's even a YouTube song compilation that I watched with 74 million and counting views. And you did something fun with the song Free also
Yes,
on
I
YouTube.
covered that with a friend of mine as well,
Yeah.
Chaunu.
How fun was that?
It was great. This is all such a dream. I mean, I can believe it because it's such a great film, but the amount of love we're receiving is really just incredible.
What did this film for you and seeing it become such a phenomenon, what does it mean for you personally?
Wow. It means so many things. I think, one, just looking at my career as an Asian American, being in Hollywood for so many years, it's such a special movie that helps us feel seen. It's our story. You know, there's so much Korean culture and this beautiful narrative, but at the same time, they're just girls, right? And it's just a great movie. Our writers, directors, you know, the animation team, Netflix just did such an amazing job of building this magical world that introduces you not only to K-pop, but demons and all of that in such a fun, magical, feel-good way. I love Rumi. Rumi's really special, and I'm just so honored that I get to be a part of her.
I mean, you realize it has really struck a chord, right? And for obviously K-pop, I don't know it in the same way that's uber super fans do, but you kind of can't not love what K-pop is. But
Right.
when you see the film, you're just suddenly singing the songs. And I was like, oh my God, here I am. I can't believe I'm singing these songs. And I got actually teary at the end as well. As an old jaded lady, it hit me too. How was it just the voice acting versus, how was that for you?
This was my first time doing a film voice acting. I'd done some ADR work and I'd done some video games, but as an animation, this was the first. And so I think there was definitely nerves and, uncertainty. And I also felt a lot of pressure because Rumi was so like bar high, right? She is the number one idol. She is a star. She's also like the leader of this amazing group, and she's a demon hunter. Like I just felt like, oh my goodness, I have to like be perfect and do it so well and sort of honor the role. And I really wanted to protect her. And so I felt a ton of pressure. And as an actor, normally when we're on screen, we get to sort of play off of our co-stars or work together with others. But voice acting, you're sort of alone with obviously your directors and producers and everybody in the room helping you, but guiding you. And I think at first it was a bit awkward and a little embarrassing because everyone's staring at you and you're just like, oh my gosh, don't look at me while I make funny sounds and while I do these things. But then I think once we started getting into it, I really fell in love with the whole process. It was so fun to see the world being built, seeing the animations develop, going from sketches to a little bit more and more and more, and then just starting to hear the other actors and see the scenes develop because I'm a huge fan of animations to begin with. I love animated films. I love how magical they all are. But then to get to be a part of one in a genre where I'm like, wait, I love K-pop. I love badass girls. I love all of this. Like when the Saja Boys are introduced or when Derpy's introduced. I just remember like all those moments are so special to me. And I think the only sad part is that you're kind of in the booth alone and you wish your like other actors are there. But Maggie and Chris were great. Michelle was with us every day too. And we have just an incredible team of people giving us direction, helping us really build Rumi to who she is today.
We follow her, right? It's her story. And one of the things in particular that I really wanted to get your POV on is there's this idea of our faults and our fears have to stay private. They can never be seen. And it's perpetuated throughout the film. Obviously, it's a driving narrative throughout. And as someone that isn't so steeped in the K-pop culture, but loves pop culture, knows that this is also very true in the K-pop world. This like idea of perfection, right? The hair, the outfit, the everything, the voice. They start training when they're pre-teens. Like if you're 21, you're too old. It is really this window, and it is about perfection. So I'm kind of curious what your POV is on that and what you hope people take away from watching.
Yeah, it is so cutthroat. That industry is really tough, but I think that's why K-pop is so loved and respected. These artists are so talented. It's like next level. They're just incredible performers all around. And of course, what's interesting about that perspective is I found a lot of it to also be a bit cultural, at least in the Korean culture. And I've experienced this in my life. It's quite common that we shouldn't expose things that might be shameful, might be embarrassing. I remember quite early on in my career, you know, when things were going well and I might do panels or talks, I sort of love sharing the difficult stages of my career. I love sharing, you know, maybe the harder times and
the struggles.
Right. But I remember like one of the first conversations with my mom after an event or maybe even an article, she kept being like, you know, why are you talking about those things? Those are so embarrassing. You know, those are difficult times. Like, just talk about your success. And I realized, oh, that's such an interesting perspective, which is let's just show the best. Let's show our good side. Let's not show our pain because that's embarrassing. And I was like, no, Mom, that's not embarrassing. That's what made me who I am today. That's a part of my story. And that's what makes me who I am. I don't want people to think that I just showed up one day and everything worked out, or that every job or every story worked out. I like knowing that I failed more times than I can count. I quit the business more times than I can count. And I thought it was over more times than I can count. But that's what makes it more meaningful, right? And I feel like for Rumi, there's these very, you know, special moments between her and Celine where it feels like a mother-daughter moment where she's like, you know, what if I just told Zoe and Mira? Wouldn't they understand? Wouldn't they accept me? And I remember thinking, yeah, they would. But Rumi right now is too young to know that. And she's just listening to Celine, who is just trying to protect her.
You always say no, Rumi.
You're so modest. It's just the bathhouse.
Maybe some other time. You guys go ahead.
Every time.
Maybe they'll understand.
No, Rumi. Nothing can change until your patterns are gone.
So she's not wrong either, right? She's trying to protect her. And I feel like culturally, that is something that is very Asian. I love that in this movie, we really embrace what it means to just lay it all out and accept who we are for, like, everything, right? I mean, what are the demons? The demons might be our anxiety, our fear, our insecurities, our imposter syndrome, whatever it may be. And I love that we kind of see that in the end before they sing What It Sounds Like. You know, I like to think that that's one of the points that really make people fall in love with the movie and the story and the characters and their journey. I just relate to Rumi so much, where I hope that I can encourage other young people throughout their journeys that sometimes it doesn't work out the way you planned or when you want it to happen. And, you know, I look back and I really like my down moments. I really like the moments where I felt like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen. And then it happens and you're like, wow, that was nice.
Or something else happens that you don't expect. I mean, it really is
Right.
the journey of an artist. But I really appreciate your POV, because I think that is exactly, even though it goes against Asian culture, it's obviously hitting a nerve with everybody that, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is part of who we are. And it's so moving. I mean, I think people have to feel emotion for things to be a sensation like this film is, you know, in order for it to keep being in the top 10 and everyone talking about it, and for the soundtrack, and it, you know, it has got that, it's had a very long viral moment.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not just a viral moment. You know, I really hope that this is
I think we've passed
here
that.
to stay.
So the film is really like a musical. So I need to ask, All right. Which song was your muse?
They're all so amazing. It's hard to choose, but Golden truly is the song of the year. I feel like it is our anthem. I feel like it's everyone's anthem right now. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone covering Golden,
Yeah.
dancing to Golden. I love it. I love the lyrics. I love the message. It's just such a beautiful song, and we're just so lucky to have it be part of our story.
I just want to talk about the beginning, because your origin story is fascinating to me.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, I know a lot of actors come at this profession in a variety of ways. Some have been doing it. They knew since they were 5 years old they were going to be actors. They started as, auditioning when they were teenagers. Other people go through the training, go to Juilliard or graduate school or undergrad. They really do all this stuff. Other people suddenly wake up one day and be like, that's it. I want to be an actor. What am I doing? It's always what I wanted to do, and I'm just now going to go for it. So you're somewhere in the middle here, right?
Yeah.
So you were born in Texas, right?
Yes.
Then you moved to the Midwest.
Yeah, I moved to Minnesota, then went to
Right.
college in Illinois.
What was that moment for you in that journey? And how was that like, speaking of Korean parents, to tell your parents that?
When I was in college, I was taking a theater class as like an easy elective, only to find out it was probably one of the hardest classes I had taken, because I realized it was very hard for me to be vulnerable. I was a psych major, and I was really interested in, how people are and sort of nature versus nurture and all of that. And I realized the things I struggled with was this mix of identity and figuring out who I was, growing up in America, not quite knowing what it meant to be Asian American at that time. It wasn't as talked about. I mean, I really grew up thinking I was just American. I think it wasn't until college when I started understanding what it meant to be Asian American or Korean American, or embracing my Korean side. And then feeling this, I guess, starting to fall in love with acting and storytelling and how powerfully moving it was. I always say theater in a weird way was the biggest therapy for me. It was the way to express myself in ways I hadn't really been able to in life. I felt like I always had to be perfect. I felt like my parents had worked so hard and tried to provide so much for us that I had to be perfect. Had to get straight A's, had to be good at everything, played every instrument, played all the sports, like did everything like a good Asian should.
Yeah.
In a weird way, similar to Rumi, right? She had all these expectations, and I had all these expectations for myself. And then it was this thing of I just didn't really know who I was. And I was exhausted of trying to be perfect. But in acting, I learned how to be vulnerable, to break down, what it meant to really get angry or sad or to feel all these emotions. And it was healing. And then, of course, fell into that world of, I want to see more Asian Americans on TV. I want to see our stories. I want to see more people like me. So yeah, I mean, after college, I made that leap, moved to LA, and worked a lot of part-time jobs.
Is there a particular role, or you say theater, is there a particular thing that you performed or an audition that really changed the course of how you thought about yourself? I mean, you talk about it through this theater process. I'm just curious.
There definitely wasn't one aha moment. I think it was, I actually always just I loved music, I loved art, I loved dancing, I loved it all, but I loved storytelling. I remember I had a director who was really frustrated with me, and I don't think that I could give him quite the performance he wanted, and I just was so green, I was so young, I didn't know. That really made me want to work at it. I wanted to be better, I wanted to figure it out. I was like, why? Why is acting so hard? Why is it so hard to express myself? I talk about this with my friends quite often, how sometimes Asian Americans, we feel a bit of repression growing up in the States, and it's a bit lonely in that sense of, it's like the immigrant story. You feel this burden of responsibility to be great, to do something amazing. And, as you mentioned, were my parents happy? Of course not. Yeah. And, I always joke about it and say, I think it took my parents over 10 years to really, truly accept it. But they're so proud of me now, and I'm so thankful that they at least didn't object. They were like, you're on your own, good luck.
Well, that's good. That's progress, actually.
Right. I think, though, honestly, I don't think anyone thought I would last that long. I've always been a bit of, like, I don't want to say weak, but I'm more like introverted and a bit empathetic. And I think because I wasn't so thick-skinned, a lot of people thought that it would be tough to hang on.
Yeah, this is a brutal business.
Yeah,
I mean,
and from being from small towns, LA's a tough city at first, but
still is a tough city. What do you
it
mean at
is,
first? Come
right,
on, Arden.
it
It's
is.
still tough.
It is, but I've grown some thicker skin.
You have,
you
yeah.
know? I still cry sometimes, all the time. Anytime I meet someone new, I'm always like, it's all right. I cried my first 5 years in LA. Don't worry about it. You'll get there.
It's hard. It's a very lonely city, and especially
is.
because you are, you're mostly in competition with yourself, right?
Right.
So you're always
And
having
we're
this
our
internal
toughest
dialogue,
critics.
right? You're your toughest critic. You're going on these auditions. You're faced with rejection every day, and LA gives you rejection. There's no parking. There's the traffic. Nothing's easy here, right? Even though it's beautiful and
Nothing's
always
easy.
70 degrees,
Right.
Nothing is easy here. So looking at your trajectory, what part of you is Texas, and what part of you is truly Midwest, and now what part of you is LA?
Oh my gosh. I feel like sometimes the heart is always going to be Southern. I feel like when I'm down south, the y'alls come right back. The Southern slang comes right back. I mean, and I feel like that Southern hospitality will never go away. Some of my close friends are still from Minnesota. And then right away, we're like, oh yeah, Minnesota, don't you know? We're like right back there. But then we go to Chicago and everyone's like, the long O's. Like
It's a little harder, yeah.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I feel like I quite often will meet people that are like, where are you from? I mean, not even in the Asian way, but just where, because every once in a while you'll hear a little bit of a Southern drawl and then you'll hear a little bit of a Minnesotan thing and then a Chicago. I'm like a Southern Midwest girl at heart with like an LA sprinkle now.
The other fascinating thing about you, okay, aside from all your other talents, is you are a world-class poker player.
Oh
Now,
my goodness,
this
that's so
is
funny.
Incredible. I had a friend, Willie Garson, who was a huge poker player, and his dad was like a professional gambler. And he would play in these celebrity tournaments. And, Ben Affleck has a big one. Obviously, Don Cheadle, a great poker
Yeah.
player. I mean, you see it, you can watch it on TV. But how did you get into poker? And how did you get so good?
I started playing poker in college and I just always really enjoyed it. And I've actually learned a lot about life in poker. It's a game where it doesn't matter who you are, what size you are, what gender you are. You just sit down at the table and you have chips. Everybody has chips. And the goal is to win all the chips or some of the chips, but nothing else matters. Where in life, everything matters. I remember it started in college, in the dorms and all the guys would be playing on Friday night. And I'd be like, what are you guys playing? Can I play? And they'd be like, no, it's just boys only. That little hit a nerve a little bit. So I feel like there was a part of me that always wanted to learn because of that. And it probably started the interest then. I was quite bad for many years. I lost a lot. And then I started, studying, learning, and getting a bit better. I wouldn't say at all world class. I think I'm very lucky that I get to survive. But poker is the one time where it's kind of nice to be a female and to be so underestimated. Because if nobody expects you to even be okay, and you just kind of like win, and they're like, oh, cool, whatever. I'm not like a threat.
Right, and then you keep winning, and then you keep winning, and then you keep winning,
And then
you
they
keep
still go,
winning.
oh, it's okay. She's just an actress. I think as a woman, I've learned a lot of confidence from the game. I think it's allowed me to know that you can battle. And you don't necessarily have to battle with fists.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also
It's fun.
just the poker face, not being able to be read.
Right.
And just maintaining your cool.
Well, it's
and-
funny. Like in the pandemic, I started playing a lot of poker only because I really wanted to produce a cool film with the whole like poker, crypto world, and had all these ideas. And I got into high stakes poker for the first time in the pandemic, mainly for research. And then just met a lot of really cool people, started to play tournaments. So that was my first time playing a lot of big tournaments. And then I got pretty lucky too.
Do you still play? Like, do you have a
I
regular
do.
game?
Whenever there's off seasons, it's like one of my favorite things to do. Like I love on the weekends getting a massage, playing poker, and just relaxing, watching a good show. It's just, I don't know, it's just so fun.
Yeah, I know that during the pandemic it was huge. People had these games that were ongoing all the time on
yeah.
Zoom.
When
and
there's time, it's always fun.
love
but
it. Love it. Please make that movie, by the way.
I want to.
What is your game? Is it like Texas Hold'em? What
Yeah, I play mostly Texas Hold'em, no
Okay.
limit. I play a little PLO, but mostly No Limit.
Another thing that people on my team would just be so mad if I didn't mention is Teen Wolf. Okay. And also, which I watched Partner Track and loved, so bingeable. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
let's say you're an Erewhon in LA,
Okay.
just to make it really LA here.
Okay.
What are you being recognized for?
Oh,
Partner
man.
Track or Teen Wolf? Like, what do people come up to you and say?
Okay, if we're in LA, I'm gonna say Teen Wolf. If we're in New York, definitely Partner Track. I kind of feel like it's like region based. If I'm in Asia, for sure Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, that feels like such a, I mean, it obviously was a seminal moment for you.
Yeah.
In your career, in reading about that, a seminal moment as a person,
Yeah.
and as a woman, and
Yeah.
as just like, yeah, okay, I'm done here.
A lot happened. A lot happened in that era. I mean, I will say, you know, in a sense, I started acting quite late compared to some people. And for me, I think I had been auditioning for almost 6 or 7 years before I booked Teen Wolf. And the funny story behind that is I sold my car. I took all the money I had, invested into making an album. I was ready to go on tour. I was doing a bunch of shows. I had a whole tour planned out. And then my agent was like, one last audition, just one more. And I was like, no. It's too late. It's too hard. It's not happening for me. And I just chopped off all my hair to my chin. And he was just like, no, one more. And that was Teen Wolf.
Wow.
And I booked that and started shooting, I believe, like the next week. And I remember I put on like 10 pounds of extensions, had long hair again. And I remember thinking, you know, at the time it was almost like, if I remember correctly, 1 or 2 episodes, it was just going to be a little thing. And I was like, okay, it's fine. The music will go on pause. We'll film this and then I'll get to that. And then 2 episodes became 12, became 24, became 48, became, you know, series reg. And it was incredible. I mean, people loved Kira, and, you know, I'm so thankful to the writers for keeping me in the game and bringing me back. And yeah, and then she became so loved and so special to me. Like, I grew up with her.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was green. I didn't know much. I kind of showed up on set, didn't really know what to expect. But I was so excited just to be there. I was so excited to film. It was such a loved show, and it had everything I loved. It was supernatural, and she was strong and powerful, but she was still a girl. The part of me that's like, oh, she's the cool girl I always wished I was in high school. And, you know, I love Kira. She's so cool. But, you know, unfortunately, we had a little bit of a sad ending there. We never really got to finish out her story. But then it's cool because now I have a lot of fans coming back saying, Rumi's like a cool grown-up version of Kira in an alternate universe. And I was like, oh, interesting. I could kind of see that, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of love that. I feel so lucky to be able to play such three-dimensional, cool characters that are strong, inspiring women.
That's a spectacular story, actually. It's always that. No, one more. I mean,
Right,
did you
right.
have to mourn the music? Did you have to have, like, I imagine
Well,
that was...
it was funny because my producer at the time, I do feel so bad, Koo Chung, he's so great, but he had come to LA, worked on this album with me for a month, really like low budget, right? Like blood, sweat, and tears. We made this album, and you know how music is. It's really tough unless you like tour and promote
Yeah.
it. It's sort of like,
It's on the road.
yeah. So we didn't get that, but he's just always been so supportive. And the music has kind of lived, and I found little spurts here and there to make some music. And it's funny how it's like my first love, but it always sits on like the back burner. Even in the pandemic and before, I made a ton of music, and all of that was ready to go. And then I booked Partner Track. So I always joke and say, whenever I'm thinking acting's not working out, I just like aggressively work on music. And when the music is ready, I always tend to book a new show, and then all of the music gets put on hold again. And so it's really funny, but not funny.
Well, it's interesting because you are an artist. So it's like you talk
Yeah.
about wanting to quit a bunch of times, but it wasn't like I'm going to quit and go to law
Right.
school.
I was quitting just that part of the art
Right.
for a moment. And I mean, it's funny because now when I say I quit, my friends just go, okay. Nobody believes me. Like, I feel like even when I tell my agents I quit, they're like, okay, let us know when you're done writing a song about it.
Yeah, yeah. Every season, I like to ask a couple of questions
Yes.
that are the same with all my guests, right? Everyone gets the same question.
Mm-hmm.
And last season, I asked about birth order, and I loved it so much that now it's going to become a regular part of my repertoire of questions moving forward. So I will ask you, how did your birth order, and even if you were an only child, like how did that affect the person that you are today?
I love this question because I totally believe in it. And I always ask people about their birth order
Oh,
also.
good. I
So
love that.
love it. We're like totally there. I am the oldest, so I'm the firstborn. It is so much of my identity. I'm always the big sister, wanting to take care of everyone, wanting to take care of everything. And it's also kind of how I am on set. Like even with Partner Track, I remember my cast being like, "You're like our mom." And I was like everybody's mom in a sense. And it's just like inevitable. I can't help it. I don't know. It's just who I am. In entertainment, it's always been so fun because I feel like I have so many little sisters and brothers and I just love it. We're like a big family. And I think birth order is pretty impactful in your personality and who you are.
For sure. Yeah.
But I'm always like, if I have kids, I want a son first.
Why is that?
Well, because I feel like I always wished I had an older brother. Like, I feel like if I had an older brother to sort of like protect me or guide me along the way, I don't know, maybe it would have just been a little different. Or maybe even an older sister.
So my new question
Okay.
is my producer and I saw this thing JOMO. Okay, so JOMO. I was like, "What's JOMO? What
Yeah,
is it,
what's
JOMO?"
JOMO?
So JOMO, we know what FOMO is, right?
Oh,
Fear of missing out.
okay.
JOMO is the joy of missing out. Okay.
Okay.
So what would be your JOMO? What would be the thing that you are so happy to miss out on?
Oh no, I feel bad to say it, but parties.
I think you're not alone in
Okay,
that.
I'm
Actually.
sorry. I feel like as much as I do love to see everyone and I love to be there, as an introvert and as someone who always feels socially awkward and uncomfortable, it's like there's always this like anxiety and fear that comes with a big party or like a big event because you feel this need to, at least for myself, I feel this need to please everyone and talk to everyone and give everyone their moment. And you're like, oh my goodness, I always leave a party being like, oh no, so-and-so was trying to talk to me, but I couldn't because I was in a conversation with someone else. Or this conversation was too short and I wanted to ask them about this, and that, and I couldn't. And you just start like replaying the whole night. And then my extroverted friends will be like, you're so weird. Like nobody's thinking that. Everything's fine. Get out of your head. And I'm like, are you sure? I love like this.
Yeah.
I love one-on-ones. I love anything with less than like 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4 is like the dream number.
Okay, well, I just have to ask because you have a beautiful ring on your finger.
Oh,
so how are you
yes.
going to do that with your wedding?
This is actually a funny conversation. Well, I don't know if he thinks it's funny, but initially I was like, yeah, I mean, I always dreamed of a really small, intimate wedding, like 20, 30 people. And he was like, what? And I was like, why? What's your short list? And his short list is like 150. I think his like full list is like 250. So I was like, oh, cool. So I guess we'll probably have a bigger wedding. I'm just not sure when or how. I'm filming 2 projects back to back. And so we'll have to find a time. But, you know, he's so supportive of my career and I'm very, very thankful.
Oh, that's so great.
I like having an extroverted partner because, I mean, he loves to tease me about it. But afterwards, he'll be like, see, aren't you glad you came out? Wasn't that fun? I find for introverts, if you have a good supportive extrovert next to you, it like makes it a safer experience and it's not as overwhelming.
Yeah, you have a guy taking you through
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, I will say everyone you invite will come. So get ready and just embrace it.
man,
I'm going to be
thank
on
you.
his side and just embrace it.
Perfect.
Before you know it, it's 250 and you have a huge party and great pictures. I want the world for you. It's so exciting
thank
to
you
meet you.
so
I'm so happy
much.
I got you. This movie is phenomenal. You're phenomenal. And I just love the fact that you kept at it. And
Yeah,
here we
that's
are.
the beauty of this business. You just never know.
So congratulations and
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
your time.
much.